health economists face tough questions like which treatment is most cost-effective or how should limited resources be allocated. We try to answer these questions by analyzing data using statistics, and finding the right answer to these questions is important as only minor statistical oversight has the potential to cost our healthcare system billions, worsen public health outcomes, or in the most severe cases, destroy people's lives. Now, while you could try to avoid making these mistakes by getting a traditional education in statistics, university lectures and textbooks tend to be very dry and technical, which makes it difficult to deepen your understandings of statistics. What has changed things for me was to read this book here called The Art of Statistics: Learning from Data, as it has given me a deeper understanding of statistics than any university lecture I've ever attended before. It's written by Sir David John Spiegelhalter, who's a former professor of statistics at the University of Cambridge, and his publications got cited over 150,000 times according to Google Scholar. Now, I realize that I might sound like a fanboy here, but as a health economist who's worked in the industry for over 8 years, I really struggle to come up with any reason why professionals who are involved in the economic evaluation of medical technologies, and by extension really anyone who has to deal with data in their daily job, should not read this book. This is why in today's video I'm going to do 3 things. The first thing I'm going to do is give you a brief summary of what this book is all about, to provide you with a bit of background and to set your expectations. The second thing I'm going to do is talk you through one of the many real-world examples that are included in David's book, which illustrates perfectly why the stakes are so high when we misinterpret statistical data and how they can even have legal consequences. The third and last thing I'll cover in today's video is a list of 5 reasons why I believe that every health economist should master the art of statistics, which is really my way of trying to convince you to read Spiegelhalter's book. The boring way to summarize this book would be to say that it covers topics like probability theory, correlation and causation, Bayesian interference methods, statistical modeling, techniques like regression analysis, basics on hypothesis testing such as p-values or confidence intervals, and approaches to assess uncertainty and risk. But it is so much more than that. What I think is the best thing about this book is that it does not use any mathematical operators, expression and formulas to explain very advanced statistical concepts, which makes it so great. And yet, I believe there is value in this book even for people who've studied statistics for years. The Nobel Prize physicist Richard Feynman is often quoted to have said that if you cannot explain something in simple terms, you don't understand it. Essentially paraphrasing a quote from Shakespeare's 400-year-old play Hamlet, which said that brevity is the soul of wit. While Spiegelhalter, at least for now, is slightly less famous than the beloved playwright of Stratford, they both seem to agree that witty people can express complex ideas in a few simple words, which is exactly why the lack of any mathematical formulas in David's book on statistics makes it so accessible and so easy to digest. It's the lack of unnecessary mathematical complexity paired with practical questions which Spiegelhalter raises in his book. For example, asking how statistics can help us all understand the world better that we live in by drawing reliable conclusions from ever-evolving and growing datasets. The best thing is that he explains statistics with highly entertaining topics. For example, when he explains the differences between the mean, median and mode with the aid of data on the reported number of sexual partners over a lifetime. In other examples, David walks the reader through the approach a statistician might take who's tasked with estimating how many trees there are on our planet, or the somber case of an English GP called Harold Shipman, who turned out to be a serial killer, illustrating how statistics can help uncover patterns that aren't immediately obvious. What was interesting in Shipman's case was that statisticians compare the time he killed his mostly elderly patients against a sample of the deaths from other GP patients, which clearly showed that Shipman's patients were overwhelmingly dying in the afternoon. He retrospectively changed his patients' records to make them appear sicker than they were, but while doing so he didn't realize that the changes he was making were electronically time-stamped. Besides such grim but educational examples, there are several practical takeaway lessons you can pick up while reading David's book, like using the PPDAC problem-solving cycle or reminding yourself of why am I doing this when choosing your next statistical approach, rather than just picking a fancy statistical technique. Later in the book, Spiegelhalter also talks about Bayesian reasoning, which involves updating our beliefs or probabilities as new data becomes available. This can be especially useful for decision-making in uncertain situations where instead of sticking to a single prediction, we continually revise our understanding based off incoming information. As health economists, we could use Bayesian reasoning to refine cost-effectiveness estimates as new clinical trial data is collected, improving the accuracy of our predictions over time, or even re-evaluate resource allocation decisions a few years later when new evidence becomes available, which is partly done already through managed access agreements that are tied to evidence collection requirements in the case of uncertainty. Before we dive into the 5 reasons why I think that every health economist should read The Art of Statistics, let me briefly cover another example from David's book, which highlights how important it is for us all to properly understand statistics, as incorrectly applied methods have really the potential to put people wrongfully behind bars, which is exactly what happened to Sally Clark. Sally Clark was a British woman who was convicted of murdering her 2 sons in November 1999, based on faulty statistical reasoning. The prosecution claimed that the chance of 2 children in the same family dying of sudden infant death syndrome was 1 in 73 million, an event so rare that it was virtually impossible, assuming the deaths were independent events. However, this ignored important factors like genetics, making the events not truly independent. The key error was a misuse of conditional probability and the failure to compare the likelihood of double SIDS with that of double homicide. Sally Clark's conviction was eventually overturned, showing how critical proper statistical interpretation is in the legal system. I found this example highly useful, as we as health economists often work with probabilities in risk analysis and cost-effectiveness studies where similar errors could lead to flawed healthcare decisions. That is why proper use of statistics is so crucial to ensure accurate, ethical outcomes in health policy and decision making. If you're still unsure about reading The Art of Statistics, here are my 5 reasons that might change your mind. My first reason for reading David's book is very obvious, as it will improve your statistical literacy. In health economics, we're surrounded by data, whether it is clinical trials or cost-effectiveness models or real-world evidence. This book sharpens your ability to not just understand numbers, but to critically evaluate the data behind them. Spiegelhalter walks you through key concepts that are fundamental to your work as a health economist, ensuring that you can navigate data with confidence. Reason number 2 is that this book will teach you how to close the gap between theory and practice. One challenge in our field is that turning theoretical models into actionable real-world insights is difficult. Spiegelhalter doesn't just give you the statistical theory, he also shows you how to apply it. This is incredibly useful for health economists who want to translate complex statistical concepts into meaningful health policy decisions. The third reason for picking up your copy of the book is that it will help you understand uncertainty and variability much better. Health economics statistics is full of uncertainties, whether it's about the long-term effectiveness of a new treatment or the variability in costs across different populations. Spiegelhalter teaches you how to quantify uncertainty so you can make more informed decisions. After reading this, you'll be more comfortable handling data that's messy, incomplete, or uncertain, which, let's be honest, it's most of the data that we work with. Reason 4 is that reading The Art of Statistics will enable you to easily digest advanced statistical concepts. Whether you're a beginner or an expert, this book breaks down advanced topics into clear, manageable pieces. Spiegelhalter covers everything from Bayesian reasoning to regression analysis, but he does it in a way that's engaging and accessible. So no matter your skill level, you'll find something valuable here to enhance your understanding. The 5th and last reason is that this book gives you the tools you need to communicate your results effectively. During my career, I've met so many health economists who were incredibly intelligent and great technical experts, but yet many of them often struggle to convey complex data to policymakers, stakeholders, and the general public. Spiegelhalter emphasizes clear communication, helping you present your findings in a way that's both accurate and understandable. And let's face it, being able to communicate your results clearly is just as important as the analysis itself. Despite working in the pharma industry for years and studying statistics as part of my master's degree, I still learned a lot from reading David Spiegelhalter's book. And I strongly believe that if you're a health economist who's trying to get a little better every day, you too will benefit from reading The Art of Statistics. Now that you're done watching this video, check out this video right here, in which I explain research study design in less than 10 minutes. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.